So my name is Joe Cataldo. I'm a managing partner at Sionic, and I manage the financial crime and compliance practice globally. Financial crime and compliance is the area of helping banks deal with the results of financial crime, helping banks interdict the situations where they are victims of financial crime, and preferentially actually stopping that from happening, and helping banks prevent their clients from being victims of financial crime. It's also helping banks prevent them from being vehicles for criminal enterprises. The financial crime and compliance practice has four main components to it. The anti-money laundering component is one of the largest pieces of our business, and it's helping banks prevent money launderers, criminals, from using their institution to launder and clean dirty money into clean money. Two big components within that. One is transaction monitoring, looking for patterns of behavior that are indicative of money laundering, and the others is sanction screening, where we help the banks check their customer lists against lists of bad actors that banks publish. The second big area is market abuse. It's helping banks deal with their capital markets operations and ensuring that they follow the rules associated with fair dealing with the capital markets. The third big area is KYC and customer due diligence. Again, during the onboarding process, making sure that a customer is reviewed, we understand who the customer is, we understand their sources of wealth, and then on an ongoing basis, making sure that the behavior of the customer is consistent with what we originally understood. And the final area, and a growing area of our practice, is anti-fraud, ensuring that banks are preferentially catching fraud when it happens and preventing it from happening, and dealing with it when it does happen. And this is both fraud in terms of the banks losing money directly, or banks losing customers' money and helping the customer deal with being victims of fraud. Financial crime is a space where there's constantly change. Criminals are constantly updating the way that they use the financial system to extract funds and steal money from the banks and from the bank's customers. And if you're not constantly adapting along with them, then you're going to be behind the eight ball. So the traditional way that banks have done that and technology vendors have done that is through rule-based systems. And the challenge with rule-based systems is that you're only as good as the next rule that you've implemented into the system. And that's where machine learning and AI is actually giving banks the edge, and is really, in my view, the wave that's coming into the financial crime and compliance space that Sionic wants to be at the leading edge of. And that's why we're investing so heavily in building those capabilities within the practice and within the firm. The machine learning tools are learning as the bank experiences new and unusual types of financial crime. With the rule-based system, the rules have a certain set of capabilities that they've been pre-programmed to catch, and when there's anomalous behavior that's outside of the given set of rules, when there's something that doesn't actually match the pattern of the rules that have already been pre-programmed into the system, a rule-based system is not going to catch that, because it hasn't contemplated in its rule base that kind of behavior. And that's exactly what the financial criminals are actually trying to accomplish. They want to do something that's completely innovative and new, because that's how they're going to steal the most amount of money. With the machine learning tools now, the whole kind of paradigm is different. Now this is normality, and anything outside of normality is what we need to actually identify, put in front of a financial crime and compliance analyst for review. So anything that's unknown and different gets reviewed, and in many cases it's actually okay, but in the cases where it's not okay, you just caught something that you wouldn't have caught otherwise. We are responsible for standing up the anti-money laundering platform for the largest retail product launch in the United States this year. We are responsible for setting up real-time customer onboarding systems. We did real-time onboarding, so in real time we're actually gathering information from a number of different third-party suppliers and actually providing decisioning around the customer's risk. And we've done a number of model validation projects where we've identified gaps in client coverage and helped them remediate those gaps. When we're helping banks interdict financial crime, we're actually at the leading edge of helping banks stop criminals from taking money from clients, from taking money from the banks, and in many cases in these anti-money laundering situations, from true bad actors taking the proceeds from some horrible activities and cleaning that money so that they can use it for their own personal gain, right? So things like, human trafficking, the drug trade, and countering the financing of terrorism. I mean, we're at the leading edge of helping banks stop some true bad actors from profiting from their activities.